We'll do it live.
Okay.
No. We'll do it live. F it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 8 of Nintendo Talk Live. I am Bobby, the Nintendo Guru, joined by the non-technical savvy Stealth. What is up, Stealth?
Hey, are we actually going to tell them what just happened behind the scenes?
We got to tell them what happened, because they're probably looking at this thing and they're going like, what? Bobby is a mess right now. What is he doing right now? So essentially, here's the gist of what happened. We're about to go live, right? And I'm just gonna call you Stealth because I'm not gonna reveal your real name, even though I know your real name, and I kind of like knowing the behind the scenes thing. You're the only.
You can always blackmail me later.
Well, here's the funny thing. You only show your face on my shows so far, and I know your real name, so I like this. This is fun. I like this a lot.
We have a very special relationship.
Yes, exactly. But so what happens is we're sitting here, and he's like, "Hey, let's just test this out." And I'm like, "Okay." We had like 12 minutes to spare. I'm like, "All right, no problem." We do a call. I can't see Stealth. Can't hear Stealth. He can see me. He can hear me. And I'm talking to him. I'm like, "Hello, hey," like I'm talking normal. I can't, and he's typing. And he's like, "We might need to go to Discord." Then we go to Discord. I can't find him. He finds me, and then we do a call there. And then like I can't see or hear him at all over there. And I'm like, this is a mess. So then you're like, I might need to do just audio. And then I'm like, man, we just promised the people they were going to see you.
I know.
And now you're gonna screw them all over. And then he's like, wait a minute, try this again. We do the call, boom, works perfectly. He's like, I forgot, I got the wrong plug. I plugged the camera wasn't plugged in.
Yeah.
So, thank you. Anyway, for those that don't know, this is Stealth from Twitter, and everybody knows. I think everybody knows you pretty much. You're all over the place with what you do. You have a lot of behind the scenes tweets that you put out, and you give a lot of information, and you have a good insight on Nintendo. Do you think I'm giving you justice in what I'm saying, or?
I think you are.
Okay.
Other than Twitter, I do guest spots on many different shows, such as yours.
Mm-hmm.
I seem to get around the things I say. Seem positively or negatively get reaction.
That's a good thing. That's never a bad thing. That's a good thing.
You don't want no reaction. That's when it gets bad.
You're absolutely right. If you get if it's just like a thud and there's no noise, like it just boom, and then you got problems. It's like throwing a rock in the water with no ripples. You got problems. Like there's something's not right. So essentially, for you and I, let's just kind of go back. This isn't our first rodeo with this. We did this a year ago, I think, when I was basically doing that. Maybe give or take, maybe a little less than that.
Yeah, I forget when the first show I did with you was. It was over a year ago. Mm-hmm. But we knew each other before that because we had both done.
Well, no. At first, what happened was you and I had Roger on Nintendo Talk Live, and then you messaged me like, "Hey, man, I would love to." Yeah. Anytime
with you, and then it kind of went dormant for a while. Then we got on with Roger.
Yes.
And then it reminded me again.
Yes.
That,
or it reminded both of us. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I know this guy.
Yeah, it was exactly.
Yeah.
It was like 2 months had passed and we hadn't contacted each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it was like, and then all of a sudden it's like we're in the same video together.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, this is awesome. Real quick to the chat, thank you for everybody coming out. We're 21 strong already. Elizabeth Rhodes, what's up? David, Crashy, Snow Bunny, No Filter, a Nintendo podcast. How are you doing? Coach Timbo coming in from Germany. Holy crap, dude! It's late as hell for you. Go to bed. Jason Lacey, what is up?
I wouldn't stay that late for Nintendo Direct.
Well, that's true too. Ryan Libert, what is up? Dude 427, my man, my guy. How are you guys doing? Hope you guys are having a great night. So and then the last time we talked, I think we kind of had issue. And I'm going to remind you. Let's see if you remember this. So we were doing that whole... Roger was doing like the top games or whatever, or the bracket.
Oh, yeah.
And they brought me in late. And what is it? Xenoblade beat out... I think Xenoblade beat out Zelda Breath of the Wild or whatever. And... they brought me in, and I was like, no, wait a minute. And then, like, you were like, no.
You know, I think I'm going to hang up because I do remember, and now I'm getting angry all over again.
And I was... and I
was going to win, like, the best series.
And I swayed the vote, I turned the tides, and then everything kind of changed. And then I think that when they bring in HMK, and he kind of was like... throwing fire on me and stuff and pissed off and I was like, okay, well we'll just figure this out.
Well, HMK was in the video from the beginning.
Okay. It was fun, dude. It was
fun.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I'm surprised that Xenoblade made it as far as it did in the bracket with just me and Roger pushing it as hard as we did.
Exactly.
But I forgot that you were called in as the ringer.
They basically. So what happened just behind the scenes? Roger invited me. He invites me to a lot of this stuff. So thank you so much, Roger, for doing that, because you don't need to do that. And he always invites me. He's very gracious to everybody. Like, he brings everybody in. And so the funny thing is he invites me to this thing, and I'm like, I'll try. I was kind of on my hiatus. I was away. I wasn't doing anything. And I was like, well, I remember Roger doesn't need video, so I can just basically hop in with a headset and a mic and do this. And I was like, they don't want me there. I'm not going to jump in. And then Commonwealth Realm, Joey Ferris and Commonwealth Realm, they were messaging me. And they were like, dude, we need your vote. Get in here. We need your vote. And I'm like, I'm trying to get in. Like, now I'm trying to get in. I'm like, I can't get in. It won't let me in. I'm trying. And then that's where it all started. Like, I was like, hey, man, I got in on this. And the vote, the votes weren't working. And so, yeah.
When I streamed with Miss Click last week, she was very happy to remind me of this whole incident once again.
Well, first off, congratulations to Miss Click. She just, for those that don't know, she just became a Nintendo brand ambassador. And if you're going to pick somebody, dude, she is phenomenal.
She is really great.
Oh my God, she's amazing. And so another one, so gracious. That's the common theme, I think, with a lot of Nintendo brand ambassadors. They all are very kind and caring and very generous with their time. Yeah. When I was plotting my return, I had only met Miss Click one time, and that was on Planet Nintendo Podcast. That's another podcast I do, but I was away on my hiatus, and they asked me to come in and come back and do an episode. And I said, yeah, fine. Came back, met Miss Click. She's awesome. And then when I was plotting my return, I was doing the Guru Direct, and I was trying to get it all lined up. I realized at one point, I was like, I have a lot of segments that are just me, and I don't want to just talk to the camera. I got to get other people involved here. So I reached out to her, and I was like, hey, can you do a segment for me? And she was like, absolutely. What do you want? And I was like, by the way, I need it like in a day. And I was scared. And she's like, no problem. Boom, came in, home run. And I was like, oh, thank God. Like, just really, and they don't have to help at all. You know what I mean? Like,
the one thing with our group is we're all willing to help each other out, jump in each other's videos.
Yes.
Because really, we all want to talk about Nintendo.
That's what it all boils down to.
It isn't really necessarily how we do it. We're all going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think we all have a very good relationship in that regard.
I agree. So there was something else I wanted to talk about real quick before we jumped in, and I totally lost train of thought. I can't remember. Holy crap. That's what happens. That's what happens when you get old. You start to have those senior moments where you can't remember everything.
Do you know where you are?
I think I do. I think I do. I see the white behind me, and I know that I'm.
These fingers am I holding up?
4 and a thumb. There you go. That's the proper answer.
Yeah.
I was gonna say to you, like, so at E3, I met Roger, and So I'm sitting. This is the funniest story. I want to give another example of how awesome this guy is. So I'm sitting there, and I'm on the curb, and I'm hanging out with Alejandro Buendia, and we're waiting for Jules Watcham to come because I stayed with Jules during it. And we're waiting for Jules to come so we can go in and have lunch. And as we're sitting there, Alex looks to his left, and he's like, "Hey, man, isn't that Roger?" And I was like, "Oh my God, it is." And we're sitting there, and I'm like, Alex doesn't know that I know Roger, so I'm like, I'm gonna screw with Roger a little bit. So I stand up, and as he's coming, he's doing one of these like celebrity type things, like where he's like looking to the ground, trying to act like he's busy, so he doesn't make eye contact. He is
a celebrity.
Yeah. I know he is, and he's looking down like he's not trying to like make eye contact with people. I'm like, "Excuse me, sir, do I know you?" And like he looks up and he sees me. He's like, "Oh my God, Bobby!" And I'm like, "What's up, Roger?" And he's like, he starts flipping out, right? And I'm like, This should be a reverse reaction, not like the other way around. And like he's introducing me to his girlfriend Reagan, and he's flipping out, and he's like, "This is Bobby, the Nintendo Guru." And I'm like, people are looking at me now, and I'm like, "Dude, stop!" Like it's embarrassing, but he's just so amazing, dude. He's just a great guy.
Roger, back when I had like 100 followers, he was probably the first big YouTuber to follow me. He was like amazing. 102.
That's amazing.
And now I'm at like almost 7,000 now.
That's insane, dude. That's insane.
Yeah, it is. But like I've done so many videos with him. I talk to him almost every other day, I'd say.
Yeah.
He doesn't do too many of the videos where he brings people in to talk about games as much anymore. But if he did, I have no doubt that he'd bring the old crew back together.
He's awesome. N64 Josh, what is up? N64 Josh just came in to see your face.
What I look like? Yeah, of course.
The thing is, Josh, this is exclusive to the Nintendo Guru channel. You can dream on all you want. It's not going to happen over on N64 Josh.
First of all, I'm not sure if N64 Josh can afford me anymore.
Oh, listen to this. Here we go. No, no.
Yeah, it's just the truth is, like, when I didn't have my camera plugged in, most of the time it's like in a box somewhere. I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
So when I do videos, I don't really think about it. But like whenever I do I know I have it. Yeah. So I have to get it out. I put it up. I just didn't plug it in. I'm stupid. I don't know what to say.
Well, what I do is I go, the only way you can come on the show is you gotta get on camera, and you're like, all right, I really don't want to get on the show. And I'm like, please just come do this. And then you're like, all right, whatever, I'll get on camera. Josh, come on, man, we're kidding.
Yeah, Josh honestly is also one of the nicest Nintendo people to interact with.
Amazing. The guy is amazing, dude. Straight up. Super Nintendad, what is up? Chris is actually going to be on in 2 weeks. I'm going to have him on, so that's going to be pretty
Although
good.
I must say, Josh has some questionable gaps in the Nintendo games he's played.
Dude,
that makes me expect him slightly less. But
he invites me on his show, right? And I was on a couple weeks ago, and I come on, and then they tell me the dude's never played Mario 64, and I'm like, I gotta go. I don't know that I can be here right now. Like this is kind of.
It lowers your cred just to be around.
Yeah, like how do you not play Mario 64? And you have N64 in your name, like Josh. What is happening?
He's an enigma wrapped in a mystery.
He's amazing. He is an awesome guy. Enough about him. His ego's gonna get out of control right now. So let's just jump into this, right? Let's just have fun with this one. Anything exciting happened this week for you?
Well, other than a Nintendo Direct that almost killed me.
Almost killed you? Why?
Almost literally killed me, just with the amount of JRPG stuff.
Dude, they came heavy with that.
So where do you want to start with the Direct?
Let's just start at the beginning. Let's start at the beginning, and we'll work our way through and kind of, we got time. We got time to go. I mean, it comes out with, they start off with the Luigi's Mansion stuff, and like I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh, okay, we know about this already, and it's like, whatever, and then, boom, Luigi's Mansion 3. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, that was completely unexpected as an announcement there. I mean, honestly, since then I've looked at Next Level's website, I've looked at their Twitter, and there's no indication that they're working on it. But I can't believe they aren't.
Yeah,
I'm just assuming that they are.
Yeah.
I didn't have that reaction. From the beginning, I knew it looked too good to be the 3DS game, but I didn't know what I was looking at. You know, it was kind of like an out of body experience. Like I knew it wasn't the 3DS game, but I didn't know what I was looking at.
Yeah.
And even the first time I watched through it, I didn't realize that Luigi was in a giant hotel.
Yeah.
And after you watch it again and look at the screenshots, it's very, very obvious that, you know, Mario went missing in this hotel. His luggage is there.
Yeah.
And, you know, Luigi has to find him. Hopefully Professor Egad is back. I mentioned that on Twitter. He has to be back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am very, very excited about it because it doesn't look like the sequel where it's going to be like separate mansions.
Yeah.
It's just going to be one big building.
And do you like that, or did you like the way 2 was?
Honestly, I like both games, but, you know, I have more nostalgia towards the original.
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, most of us do. The crazy thing is the original one, right? So, and I really truly believe the original one that was on the Game Boy, it kind of got a lot of hate because people wanted a new Mario game.
Yeah. And it was at the launch of the GameCube. It was
at the launch of the GameCube, and they're like, okay, we're going to get it because we like Luigi, we know who he is. Yeah. But it wasn't what we were thinking, I think, at the time. So it kind of got some hate back then. And then Luigi's Mansion 2 comes out on the 3DS. And I really did a deep dive on that game. Like, I liked that game a lot.
It was the perfect game at the right time when 3DS was at its hottest point in 2013.
Yeah.
And it ended up selling almost 6 million copies.
That game was so good.
And that's outrageous for any game, let alone a spin-off of a spin-off.
Yeah. It's crazy to see that thing just blossom into what it was. And the funny thing is I really thought this game was going to hit the Wii U, meaning Luigi's Mansion 3. There was a couple of directs that I felt like, okay, this is going to happen. Because the only reason is they put the arcade cabinet out right around when the Wii U was going out. And they had Pokken Tournament, and they had this game, and I thought, like, okay, we're going to get a Luigi's Mansion coming to Wii U. And it never happened. Yeah.
And also, everyone thought during the year of Luigi that, of course, you had to.
Yeah.
But that also never materialized. Yeah, I think that game is going to be so good. I just have a good feeling about it.
So are you good with how they started the direct?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I love it when you start with a shock that no one's ever seen before.
Yeah.
And you really, what you want to do is you want to start with something big and you want to end with something big.
And they did that. Yeah. For damn sure.
We'll I'm sure we're gonna get to that, but yeah, that was unexpected.
So then they kind of go into the 3DS montage or whatever. Some 3DS games. Kirby Epic Yarn is coming over, which I enjoyed that game on the Wii. It was that's actually the first Kirby game I ever played was Epic Yarn.
I'm closing down my Skype right now. I'm done.
Listen, Kirby, I'm not a fan of Kirby. There's a lot of people to tell you that. I don't, I like good games. I can't help it that there's
and it's funny because that game, like Mario 2 on the NES, wasn't actually supposed to be a Kirby game. It was a reskin of an original IP.
Yeah.
That they decided probably wasn't going to sell, so they put Kirby into it.
The crazy thing with Kirby is Kirby always gets these weird gimmicks, and it's kind of like a testing ground because they know that Kirby games sell, so let's just test stuff out here and see what works.
Kirby is probably Nintendo's most consistent million seller.
Oh yeah, man!
Every game sells 1 million.
Yeah, so it's like an easy thing for them to go like, okay, we're going to drop this out there and see what happens. So for me, I looked at it, I was like, I'll be honest with you, I kind of like the fact that Wii games are hitting the 3DS. That's kind of like, even Wii U games were hitting the 3DS with Yoshi's Woolly World. I like that because to me, I view it as it's Nintendo testing to see, like, how do we get bigger games scaled down to fit on a smaller console.
See, I see it a different way. I see it as Switch is taken off, but 3DS is still selling. Yeah. So how can we put games on 3DS that require pretty minimal effort?
Yeah.
Games that already exist, you port over.
Yeah.
And you make whatever you make on it.
Is that?
It's
wait. Is that a landline phone?
That's a landline phone.
Oh my god! I didn't even know they existed anymore.
Yeah, they do.
I'm just messing with you.
But yeah, so the thing that I remember most about Kirby's Epic Yarn is like it got revealed during like maybe one of Nintendo's. Hold on. Stupid.
This is the greatest moment ever. Next thing you know, he's gonna have dial-up in a minute. You're gonna hear like he's gonna be calling AOL. This is the greatest moment ever.
Yeah, we're gonna let this go because I really don't want to pick this up because this is work related.
It's work related.
Yeah, so we're just gonna ignore that.
Okay.
All right, there we go.
Okay.
But but that game was announced during one of their last like live press conferences at E3.
Yeah. When
they announced Donkey Kong Returns, Golden Sun, Skyward Sword. It was one of like their last best E3s.
Yeah.
And then that's really what I remember.
The other thing is, I'm trying to hear I think okay, we're good. I was hearing myself for a minute there. So, are you okay with them still supporting the 3DS, or are you one of those guys who are just like, okay, let's get this stuff over on the Switch, like stop putting stuff there?
I mean, I love my 3DS. I don't care. It's very obvious they aren't putting anything major on it anymore.
No, that's done.
Moved over. And they're just putting ports on it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I could see if they put like a brand new franchise on there, I might be a little upset with it.
I mean, we just got a new Kirby earlier this year, so how can anyone be upset?
No, and well, I mean, look, they like I said, Kirby's a testing ground. They just drop stuff all the time on Kirby and Super Nintendo. That would be awesome. Like Wii Punch Out on the 3DS, that would be I'd be down for that.
That's crazy.
That'd be awesome. So what? So then we move out of there. Where do you go at that point? What gets you excited after that?
I'm trying to think what happened right after that. There were a bunch of games that happened right after that. We saw Mario Party, which looks great.
Yes, that looks really good. I want to see if I can pull up.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up
the list. I know that there was a list of games, but even that I could just go through like the Nintendo page and see exactly what we have here. You would think that one of us would have been prepared for this, but apparently we're just
one of us would try and be a little professional.
Yeah,
well, it's not gonna be me.
That's not. It's definitely not gonna be me.
I think it was right after that they announced the remake of Katamari.
Okay.
I never played that game, but what was shocking to me about it is it's Switch PC exclusive. So it's a Switch console exclusive.
Yes.
And really, most people remember the series from the PS2.
Yes.
So that was very surprising to me.
And I never played it either. There was a few games that they announced that I was just like, I didn't touch it, didn't do anything with it. It really didn't excite me. Was there? And I'm just gonna bounce around a little bit. We're gonna go through some different things. New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe.
Yeah.
That gets announced.
Yeah.
And that was like Liam Robertson leaked that probably like a month and a half ago, right?
I actually leaked that probably a year ago. I had caught wind of it a long time ago. I mean, the game's been done for probably a year. But it was just a matter of finding
the space,
a good month for it to drop. Yeah, I knew about that game that was a very bad kept secret.
Well, I mean, it makes a little sense. You know what I mean?
It makes a lot of sense because actually that game is the third highest selling Wii U game.
Yeah.
It sold 6 million units on that system. And so people love 2D Mario, and it's going to sell.
2D Mario always sells more than 3D, traditionally. So it just makes sense that if Mario Odyssey sold so many games, especially moving into the holiday, your second holiday, why would you not have this game there?
Right after.
For mom and pop to go like, oh, I recognize that. We're going to get that for the kids. Let's go. You know what I mean? Because let's be honest, like, if you have a kid that's just getting into gaming or, I'm sorry, a 3D Mario is not the way to push them out the gates.
Or you have a family of kids. You have a lot of kids who all want to play on the new Switch system.
Yeah.
That they got during Christmas. That's how you do it.
That's how you do it. Yeah. So that way you have it where it's all across the board. And
it's a very, very good package because not only does it include the base game, which had a lot of levels, also had a challenge mode, which was pretty substantial.
Yes.
It also includes the expansion pack, Luigi U.
Yes.
Which basically doubles the amount of levels. They're shorter.
Yeah.
Kind of like Mario 3 levels.
Yeah.
But it doubles the amount of levels. You get that in the package. You get some new characters. It is $60, but as people have shown, they don't care whether a Wii U game is $60. They'll buy it.
This is, and the crazy thing is this game is hard as hell, man. This is one of the harder Mario games.
It is. The later levels are extremely challenging.
Yes.
Luigi U is harder than anything in the new series.
Oh yeah.
Yes. That's really brutal.
I played Luigi U for a little bit, and I was like, I'm out. I don't.
Yeah, it's brutal.
If there's a game where I actually want to like slam my head into a wall, I don't want to be there. Like I just want to get out of it. And that game.
Oh, and forget about playing Luigi U with like multiple people.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's a free for all, man.
But yeah, everyone expected it. And I think it's going to sell extremely, extremely well.
Yeah, I think it will as well. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that wanted it, and you know,
come from.
I just hung up and picked up.
It's fun. They're gonna keep calling back. They're gonna be like, "He's there now." I mean, do you need to take the call? I can mute your side. That's not a problem. Do you want to take it?
No. If he calls again, then I'll
okay, if he calls again, I'll mute your side. You can take the call, and then I'll enter. I'll do my best to entertain the people for a minute or two.
Work never ends, even on the weekends.
That's just how it is, man. That's just how it is.
But so after New Super Mario Brothers, we got like a montage of like different third-party games, including Diablo 3, which I'm actually very excited to play for the first time.
Yes, and my thing is this: I've said it numerous times already at this point, and I sound like a broken record sometimes. But I really feel like that got leaked. Forbes leaked that game, and then that announcement that they did with Reggie, and Mike from Blizzard, that call thing, that was totally going to be in the direct.
Yeah.
So we lost about 5 minutes.
Well, you see, I'm actually friends with that Forbes writer, and the way he explained it to me, and how a lot of things leak, he was traveling, and the time messed him up.
Yeah.
And he put it out before it should have been.
Yeah.
Which is how most things leak, unfortunately. It wasn't like a malicious, like, I'm gonna get.
No, it wasn't. You know that it was just a mistake. It was an error.
But that, it was leaked even well before that.
Yeah.
That it was kind of hinted at.
Yeah.
That Diablo was coming.
Yeah. Which I played Diablo a little bit on the PS4. I think what upset me with that was I bought it very late. So none of my friends were playing it. I couldn't get in. I couldn't have a good time. I couldn't really get into it. Now that it's coming to the Switch, and I think this is the thing that people lose a little bit. When a game like this comes to the Switch, people essentially learn that, like, hey, we're getting this for the first time, in theory. A good portion of them are getting it for the first time. And then we're all playing at the same time. It's the same thing with Fortnite. Like, I jumped into Fortnite on Xbox a little late, and it just didn't do anything for me. And I was like, this game's horrible. I don't like it, and I backed out. And then Nintendo announces it, and I'm like, all my friends are playing it now.
Yeah.
And we're all going in at the same time. We're all the same pace. And it's like, okay, then you feel like you're in it, more or less.
Yeah.
I think that it'd be like right now buying a Switch and jumping into Splatoon. I'd be like, this is boring. I don't have my friends here. Like, where's everybody at? You know what I mean? But meanwhile, they played it the hell out of it a year ago, and they're like moved on to other games. You know?
Yeah, it's like you're level 1, and they're like level X. And
yes. Yeah. Like Miss Click, like just running away with it. Like,
I did kill her a few times on stream though, so I'm pretty happy.
She won't play me on stream. She knows that she will get crushed, and she's just afraid. She's just, listen, I get it. People don't want to play against me, and I understand this. Same thing with the Smash challenges she put out there. I challenged Roger. I challenged Etika. I challenged HMK. I challenged CND. Like, everybody.
When that game comes out, we'll all do a tournament, and we'll see who's the last man standing.
And I heard you guys talking some trash about me on the stream. So I'm just letting you know, I may not win, but you guys are going to know I was there. That's all it's going to matter. That's all.
Oh my God. Yeah, because you're going to throw the Switch away. You're going to destroy everything.
Pretty much. Yeah. I'll be like a 5-year-old throwing a temper tantrum and stuff. Yeah.
What's next?
What's next is let's see what else we got here. We got
I know we can talk about Towns.
Dude. Yes.
That game was so unexpected.
Out of left field, man.
Because we all know that Gen 8 Pokemon's coming out next year. Mm-hmm. The way all Pokemon games are, it's going to get revealed May 2019.
Yes.
So we were like, okay, so that's all they're working on. Nope. They have a little side team that's working on this RPG that I swear looks like something Level 5 would do.
Yeah, yeah.
It just has that whimsy, cartoony art style that looks so good. Yeah, I just want to learn so much more about that.
I do too. It's cool. Basically it's an RPG that takes place in one town. You utilize the people in your town to help you and to do different things. I love it. I think the art style is fantastic. I think the idea is really cool. Like you, I want to see more. I can't wait to dive into more of that. Let me see what else we got here. The Mega Man stuff. How are you with Mega Man?
I'll be honest, and I'm actually gonna this is a very hard confession to make. I've actually never beaten any of the original Mega Man. Like, in that whole series, I've never beaten a single game. And I've never even gotten that far in a single game. I've watched a lot of it, especially like streaming and speedruns. Mega Man 11 really does very little for me.
So here's the thing with that. Like, I don't think many people are shocked that you didn't beat a Mega Man game. Because, I mean, you got to be good to beat a Mega Man game.
So wait. I'm a big fan of the Mega Man X series. Uh-huh. And I'm also a big fan of the Battle Network series. Which of
course you are. If it's RPG, you're like the god. Yeah, you're like.
I want a collection of that, and then I'll be all over it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Mega Man 11 looks cool. I'm glad it exists because Mega Man needs to exist.
Yes.
I'm glad it's coming to Switch. Honestly, I think it's going to sell the most on Switch.
Yeah, I think. Oh, definitely, dude. Definitely, dude. That's the place for that game.
I don't have enough time for every game. That's the problem.
No, that's the thing. Like, I look at this, and even now, like, I look at what games are in the eShop, and I'm like, I want Bastion. I just don't have time for it right now. Like, there's games that I want, and I'm just like, I just don't have the time for it. I'm sitting there, and I'm like, do I get it? Do I not? Like, it's crazy to see where we are at with everything. It's just nuts right now. Let's see. I had something else I wanted to talk about. Warframe is coming, which they actually did the release date of that. That was talked about. Another big game that's coming. Like, it's crazy how Nintendo is just under the radar, pulling these games in, and it's like we're not even making nobody's making a big deal about it. It's just like.
And I was actually wondering about that because so now that we know that I guess we can say that Warframe is done because at this point it's 2 months. It's probably gold, and they're probably just debugging right now. But really, I was wondering, okay, so now they're fully in Doom Eternal, probably. And they're going to make sure that that's out at the same exact time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's really what I was like, are they really working on 2 games at the same time right now? No, Warframe is probably done.
Yeah.
And then they moved on to Doom.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is crazy. They haven't had this kind of support. Like, the DS and 3DS were the 2 last Nintendo systems with the most third-party support.
And 3DS...
Granted, it was all from Japan.
Yeah.
But Switch is getting all that stuff and more.
Yeah.
Plus all this Western stuff that they never would have gotten.
Yeah. The 3DS really... And the 3DS really, at the start of the 3DS, got a lot of support. But it kind of went away quick.
Like that was a time from the West.
There was a time where on the Wii U and the 3DS there was no love at all. There was no support for Nintendo at all, and it was like, man, if Nintendo's going to flop, now is the time it's going to happen. Like that's the way the feeling was as a Nintendo fan, because it was like they're on an island all by themselves. How they pulled everybody back in is beyond me. And I think it goes to, first off, you have to change your thought process with dealing with people. The rekindling of a relationship with Square.
Relationships. We'll talk about that next.
Yeah, but that shows, like, it started with Cloud coming to Smash. That was the first olive branch. And I want to say this. I really believe that it started with Iwata, because I believe that Iwata really wanted Square back with Nintendo on some degree, all because of Mario RPG. There's a story tale, like he had such, I think he worked on the game a little bit, but he also had like such fond love for Geno and stuff like that, and he wanted those characters in Smash. I think he started the conversation, and it kind of
and Square. I guess we're gonna talk about Square now.
Yeah, let's start with
Square. Really did support the DS and the 3DS, but there was also a feeling that, okay, there are certain things that the Nintendo handhelds are going to get, and then there are certain things that Square just won't even bother with. And honestly, I really think where the relationship changed was even before Cloud and Smash.
Mm-hmm.
It happened when Bravely Default came out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because Square didn't push Nintendo Default as much as Nintendo did.
Yeah.
Nintendo was the one putting it in every direct, marketing it. Square was just starting to get back into believing in JRPGs again.
Yeah.
They didn't really. Yeah. And then Bravely Default sold 1 million units, and that had huge ramifications for everything that they've done since.
Yeah. Well, and it shows, first off, a desire for the fans that we want this stuff.
Yeah.
I think a problem happens sometimes, though, where they just overload us with stuff. And it I'll be honest with you, it feels like that's starting to happen now. There's just you only have so much time to play RPGs. And they're dropping 4 on us. Like, if you count 10 and 10-2
they announced 9 JRPGs yesterday.
That's insanity, man.
Most of them are next year, which is very nice. But so let's start from the beginning. So the first trailer that they showed was Crystal Chronicles.
Yes.
And when they showed that at the TGS Sony event, people thought it might be actually PS4 exclusive, because of course Sony never shows any other systems when they announce stuff. But afterwards, it was announced that it was coming to Switch.
Mm-hmm.
So then people assumed, oh, this must be something that was going to be in the Direct. Oh man, this would have been such a cool announcement, thinking that was the only Final Fantasy thing in the Direct.
Yeah.
Not really knowing. But Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles it was a really fun game, and it's interesting because that game was like the rekindling of some relationship, not like the full relationship.
Yeah.
But that Final Fantasy on GameCube was like the first like Square game on a Nintendo system in like a long time, and it was kind of a fitting like thing that they decided to remaster that, and I think that's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Then the next thing they announced was kind of another thing that I don't think it was at Sony's TGS event, but it was announced by Square over Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
That Final Fantasy 15 Pocket was coming out.
Yeah.
And then it was out then on PS4 and 360, but at Switch at a later date. So everyone assumed that was also at a Direct, and it was a shadow drop.
Yeah.
So so really, people only thought we were going to get those 2 games in the Direct, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then right after, we get World of Final Fantasy Maxima, which is a really, really great side game that came out on PS4 and I think Vita.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't come out on any Microsoft system.
No.
So now they're doing an enhanced port of that, new monsters, content, the way that they normally do, and they're bringing that to everything.
Yeah.
That was a shock to me. I really like that game.
Yeah.
And everyone thought it would be perfect on Switch. But so yeah, that was shocking that it was there.
Yeah.
And then it got even more shocking after that with Chocobo. There hasn't been a Chocobo dungeon game since the one on Wii, which this is an enhanced port of as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that game is only coming to PS4 and Switch. It's not coming to an Xbox system.
Yeah.
And that's releasing this winter.
Yes.
Globally. So that's coming out pretty soon. And that's going to be a really fun game. They don't make too many mystery dungeon games like that anymore.
No.
Okay, then after that, it gets even crazier.
Yeah. This is when I'm like, what the hell, man?
This is where I start screaming. This is where I start screaming. And if they showed Fire Emblem after all this, I probably would have had a heart attack and died.
I really thought we were going to get some Fire Emblem. I'm going to be honest with you.
But let's go back.
Yeah.
So then they announced that Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age, is coming to Switch. Now, this is the first 3D Final Fantasy to ever come to a Nintendo system.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Main one.
Yeah.
And that was it is such a big deal.
It's huge.
That it's coming.
It's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, and it just launched not that long ago on PS4.
No. It's also getting a physical edition on Switch too.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
This starts the deluge of RPGs coming to the Switch, and I'm just like, my head's on a bobble, man. I'm like,
So after that, it's like they can't possibly announce anything else.
Yeah, and they do.
And then the next game is the thaw. I feel like that's the thawing of the relationship is fully back.
Yes.
Where Final Fantasy VII, the game that Square canceled on the N64 and brought to PlayStation 1, that like really damaged the relationship for a very long time, is now coming to Switch. That might have been the biggest deal of all. It's like, okay, now, you know what? We're going to put everything Final Fantasy we can. Yeah. It doesn't matter that there was a bad relationship there.
That's what I love. Because for me, as a 15-year-old, playing those Final Fantasy games, and then getting a little bit older in my early young adult time, playing Final Fantasy VI, which is actually 3 in the United States at that time. When that game was done, I was like, I am in. I want RPGs. I jumped into Chrono Trigger and Secret of Mana, and like, it really pushed me down this weird rabbit hole, big time. And then when they announced Final Fantasy VII, I was like, oh my god, yes. But then all of a sudden, it's a shift, and it's going to PlayStation, and I was like, so devastated at that time, just because, for me, Nintendo made me fall in love with Square. Nintendo made me fall in love with RPGs just because of the push that they gave in Nintendo Power and like all the stuff that they did to help Square sell those games in the early days. Mm-hmm. And it was like, I mean, it was huge in Japan, but in the United States, it wasn't working at all.
It was all Nintendo Power that pushed it.
Yes, the strategy guides that they would give you for free, and so for me, like, to see them leave, it was like your mom and dad getting divorced. That's the way I felt. Like, it was
but much worse.
For me, it was.
Final Fantasy VII is way more important than any family member you have. I guarantee you.
Well, I don't know about that. 6, yes, but 7, no, 7's way up there.
Yeah.
And it's actually the reason why I bought a PlayStation in the first place, was for that game. It's the only reason I bought a PlayStation. I wanted nothing to do with the console. I didn't care about it. I was like, this thing will be gone in a few years. And then, sure enough, they come out with this, and I'm like, I'm buying it. And so to see that come to Nintendo,
you have to be old enough to really remember how impossible this was.
Oh my god, they were done. Yeah,
and even 12. So they announced 7, then 9, and then 10, and then 10-2 remaster.
Yeah.
On Switch.
Yeah.
So they actually announced 9 Final Fantasy games in the span of about a minute, and it was wonderful.
Hold on, I'm trying to tell you. It definitely was a time where it was just like, you didn't think that this would ever happen. To see it happen, and to me, for me, what happened was when you sit there and you watch Bravely Default happen.
Yeah.
Right. To me, that was like, oh, wait a minute. This is something that I want. This is a throwback to the games I remember. And I think that's what they were looking for and they were trying to accomplish. Yeah. And they did. And so then you start to see this stuff happen. So then we go there. But of these games that they announced, because Square unloaded the motherload on us.
They really did. And they aren't done yet because we're going to see Dragon Quest 11.
I can't wait for that game.
The Switch version.
I can't wait for that game.
This week at TGS, I guarantee you we're going to see it because there's an event that it's impossible we're not going to.
I can't wait.
So we're going to see that. We already know that Division 11, the studio from them that made Bravely Default and Octopath Traveler, they're working on more Switch exclusives now and more Switch games. So Square is all in on Switch.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Tokyo RPG Factory.
Yeah.
I love these guys. I think they do great.
I like them too. They get a lot of hate.
Well, they did great with I Am Setsuna.
Yeah. I like Lost Sphere too.
Well, you like Lost Sphere, but a lot of people didn't like Lost Sphere. Lost Sphere took a hit.
I don't think a lot of people gave it a real chance. I just don't think they gave it a chance.
Listen, first off, calm down. You're the RPG god, okay?
I'm getting a little heated here.
Yeah, exactly. The thing of it is let's look at my question to you is this. Yeah. Because I had heard rumors, and I want to know if they're true or not. Mm-hmm. I had heard that Square's not happy with them because of Lost Sphere, and they were talking about basically backing away from that studio. Is that true, or are they working on something?
I don't know one way or the other, honestly. Okay. But what I do know is that Division 11, the studio between that did Bravely Default and Octopath, that's the new darling studio.
Oh, absolutely.
And they are going to grow, and they are going to be big. And they're basically like the Switch studio of Square Enix.
Yeah.
I don't expect Final Fantasy 16 to be on Switch. I think it's going to be a very graphically demanding game. Mm-hmm. But I do think whatever kind of retro-ish Final Fantasy game that Division 11 does, that's going to be on Switch first.
Oh, yeah.
It's not exclusive.
Now, there was talks that Square was trying to get Final Fantasy 15 on the Switch. They were working on it very hard, and I believe because it's the same engine that runs Final Fantasy VII Remake, they're trying to get that to come to Switch as well. They haven't said it, but that's obvious to me.
Basically, what I've heard through unofficial channels is Square Enix is trying to get everything on Switch.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII remake, the remake was actually supposed to come to Switch too.
Yeah.
But because that game it's going through such incredible development hell.
Yeah.
And the entire team was readjusted. It's at this point, it's just let's just get the game out on PS4.
Yeah.
But it really they really did want it to come to Switch, and but I think at this point, whatever they can bring to Switch, they are.
Yeah. And
even old stuff.
Yeah.
That they're going to try and bring back.
I hope they do. I would love for them to do a collection like Mega Man has, where you give me a disc.
They aren't going to do that because there's too much money in selling it individually.
Well, they can sell it individually. I don't care. Give me. I just would love to see them do something like that, and go even if you were to just go we are going to start reissuing every single Final Fantasy game from 1 on. We're going to put them in boxes. We're going to do the retro art on them. I would literally be screaming like a little girl, running around in circles here, losing my mind. Zyger, what is up, man? Okay, that's a question, because 8 wasn't involved.
Yeah, well, that's because there's no real good PC port of 8.
Okay.
And I've heard, I think I read that on Twitter, there's music licensing issues.
Okay.
So there's actually reasons why they really can't touch that one. It's not because they don't like it or anything, it's just because they can't.
Zyger's saying that no one wants 8, no one likes Squall. Where do you stand?
Well, 8 is my least favorite compared to 7 or 9 of the PS1 era.
The funny thing is, I was doing If We Ran Nintendo last night with Sean Capri and with Jason Lacey, and they both were mad that I even said that nobody likes 8. They were no, man, Squall is amazing. And
I tweeted about this the other day, and I think I did say it best. People love 8. It's just not beloved.
Yes.
And that's the thing. 7 is beloved.
Yes.
9 is beloved.
Yes.
I'd even say 10 and 12 are beloved now. I don't think 8 is really thought of all that highly compared to those. And
for those that are a little curious, like, and they're saying like, well, where's 11? Where's 13? Those were online games.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand why they did that. Like, why would you use numbers for your online games?
Well,
like,
I mean, I think they're still trying to bring Final Fantasy XIV, the online one, to Switch.
That's insane, dude.
They're still trying to do it.
That's insane. Well, no, 13 wasn't online, right? 14 was.
No,
14
was. 14 was. I wasn't going to correct you. I was just like with it.
You can
listen. You up on your own show.
It's fine. You can correct. Like, you know everything when it comes to RPGs. I pass all that over to you. The thing that we're going to talk about next that I will take the reins on, and I'm not worried about you, is the final announcement of the Direct. And so they throw the curveball. Where were you at when all this happened? Well, okay, before we do that, are you a person that reads the leaks, gets into the leaks, and like spoils the Direct for yourself, or do you kind of like want to go in fresh?
You see, I know, like, most of the time I know for a fact what's in the Direct because either I've seen a cut of it or I know for a fact what's in it.
Okay.
In terms of the Smash announcement, I specifically told my network, I knew there was a Smash announcement. Do not tell me who it is. I don't want to know.
Okay.
So I really had no idea that the last announcement was happening then.
But
I knew a lot of the games in the Direct. I just didn't know the end.
So when the end happens and you see the Animal Crossing thing open up, does your mind immediately go Smash, or do you go, this is Animal Crossing?
Oh, at first I immediately go Smash because it happened right after a Smash announcement. I knew it.
Okay.
It was Smash.
Okay.
There was no doubt in my mind that was going to be Smash. Isabelle is one of the most... Well, Animal Crossing New Leaf is one of the most popular games in Japan, or it was at the time.
Yeah.
And Isabelle was the most popular character of that game.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
So it just made sense that she would be in. And, yeah, as soon as you talk about a Smash bundle, the next thing is going to be a Smash character.
And the funny thing is, people are like, well, we've gotten all the characters now.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, they're like, nope, here's another one. Here's another one.
There's probably 2 to 4 more.
I think so. I agree with you on that.
It's not that many.
Because how many do we have right now? We're like, what, 60?
68?
Yeah.
I think we're 68.
I think they're going to cap off at 70 and just make it 70, round off. But think about that. 70 characters.
Yeah. I think they're going to cap it at 71 or 72. And the rest will all be original.
That's insane.
But, that's insane. But as soon as I knew in my head that it was a Smash announcement, they know you can't play with the Animal Crossing fan base like that because it's been too long and they're all rabid dogs.
Oh man, dude, I was like,
it's like announcing they made the mistake of announcing Metroid Prime Federation Force before the remake of 2.
Yeah.
And that was a huge mistake, and because it's just buried.
Well, the funny thing is like, it's almost like Nintendo recognizes that.
I think they do.
And they're like, okay, we're just going to mess with you here,
and that's
but we're going to give you.
Because that's why they specifically said stay to the end.
Yes.
Because they probably figured people would be so pissed
that they'd shut it off.
Shut it off.
Could you imagine that? Like, people are mad. Like, the Animal Crossing fans are just so pissed that they shut it off and they disappear, and then it's like. And then they find out later that, like, oh, no, there was an actual game that got announced with it.
It probably would have worked if the game announcement came before the Smash announcement, but with the way that they did the story and the video, it just didn't work.
No, it worked. It worked because for me, I was like, I'm literally watching it live, and I'm like, is it happening? Is it happening? And I'm pissed.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you see Tom Nook again, you know what's happening.
But no, when I first see Tom Nook, I'm like, who the hell knows? Maybe he's an Echo character. I don't know what the hell's going on. Like, I was hoping, but like I wasn't like going to be like jumping through the roof. And then when they announced, I was like, that moment of happiness, just like, so stupid.
I mean, I think everyone assumed it was happening.
Yeah.
But it's just nice to get it official.
It's one of those things that, like, well, yeah, of course. Like, I mean, let's be honest. It's not like we don't know. When you look at a game like F-Zero, you go, well, are they making it or are they not making it? But when you look at games like Animal Crossing, dude, they're working on the next Zelda. They're working on the next Mario game, next 3D Mario game. They're working on the next Kirby game, the next Yoshi game, the next Donkey Kong. Like, there's games that are in the franchise that you know they're working on. They're working on the next Mario Kart and probably the next Splatoon and all. Like, the franchises that sell, you know. So, like, as an Animal Crossing fan, I'm like, I know they're working on this. It's just a matter of when are we going to get it. So, to actually hear, like, hey, you're getting this thing now, like, in a year, or within this year, yeah, I was excited. I was happy about that, because that was what I wanted, man.
Yeah, and then as soon as the announcement happened, I've been following the director of the entire series, and she retweeted it. And it was like, yeah, it's like it feels like we're back.
Yeah,
because she's definitely going to be the director again.
Yeah.
Her name is Aya. She is really great. Like I've watched and listened to a lot of her interviews. She's like a really, really great developer. And she's basically been handed the keys to that series.
And they're all doing phenomenal work on that series. Like, I feel like what they did with, what they turned around and they did with New Leaf was just amazing as an Animal Crossing fan.
New Leaf was amazing.
Yeah.
And they held off on Wii U.
Yeah.
They put out that game that pissed everybody off. But I think they knew that what's the point of putting out a main game on that system?
They knew. It wasn't like, it's not like Animal Crossing isn't a system seller, but it's a system, but it sells games on systems. So, but I think they realized that, like, this game or this console isn't moving. Why are we going to put this game over here and then nothing? You know what I mean? We just get crickets and it doesn't sell the way it.
Yeah,
and then people would be pissed that they're porting it over now. So I'm happy that they held off. As much as it pained me that they held off, I was happy that they held off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily agree that it's not a system seller, but it is going to be a huge seller for Nintendo Online.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, you need it. I mean, the game won't work without it, really. I mean, it's not the same.
Let's jump into this. We'll close out with this, because I think this is where there's a lot of people... a lot of controversy, and I've seen you be like a staunch supporter of Nintendo Online the whole time,
and I will continue to be.
Yeah, what's your thought? I want to hear your thought patterns. What's your thoughts on it?
So, okay. So first of all, if we want to play online games, the way gaming is now, we're gonna have to pay.
Yeah.
So that's my main bottom line is, look, I want to play Smash, I want to play Mario Kart, I want to play Splatoon, I want to play Animal Crossing. It could be $500 a year. I'd have to pay for it.
Yeah.
What choice do I have?
Yeah.
I really don't have one.
Yeah.
The second thing that's really, really bothered me is, okay, it's $20. It's dirt cheap.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not anything.
Yeah.
So not only are you getting the ability to play online, which is just the reality of gaming.
Yeah.
You get a growing library of games for free. That will be ever growing. And yeah, it's not so impressive right now, but in 45 years, that's for $20 to get all those games.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great. So really, where I'm coming from is, this is Nintendo. This is just starting.
Yeah.
People are trying to bury it intentionally before it starts because because they're pissed off and they don't know how to channel their emotions that they're now paying for online. That's really what it comes down to.
Well, let's look at it like this. I do have a couple issues with it, but I've already pre-ordered it. I have it. I will have it day one when it launches.
It's not perfect.
No, it's not perfect. I think,
but you have to give Nintendo time to adjust. Things aren't perfect when you launch things.
No, I think essentially, the problem of what they're up against is this. This thing was supposed to launch a year ago.
Yeah.
It didn't launch a year ago. They delayed it, and then it launches now, and it's not perfect. And people are like, "Well, you had a year to course correct. Like, we thought you delayed it because it wasn't perfect, and you were taking time to make it perfect." So for me, the cloud saves is a fumble. And what I mean by that is, yes, we're getting cloud saves, but there's no reason in the world that a game like Splatoon 2 doesn't have backup. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, so Nintendo's reasoning was because of cheating. Mm-hmm. And if that is true, then that's fine, because cheating sucks. But, so the way I see it is, yeah, it's not great. Yeah. Ideally, in an ideal world, every game should have cloud saves. Yeah. But the 6 million people playing Splatoon aren't going to stop playing Splatoon now because of that.
No, I agree.
And that's and honestly, the thing that annoys me most, I don't care if people complain about it. People have every right to do so. Mm-hmm. But unless you're adding Nintendo, unless you're telling them,
yeah,
you aren't part of the solution. You're just complaining.
I think the other thing too that is a little upsetting to some, and this doesn't bother me because it's so cheap I'm buying it, but I think that if there are people that aren't buying it, the fact that they can't get cloud saves is a little. But I also understand that, like, if in order to do the cloud saves, there's servers that have to be purchased, there's things like that, so it makes sense. Like, hey, we're doing this, we're not going to give it to you for free. Yeah. That doesn't make sense. So it's kind of like a catch-22. But what I would like to see them do is go, hey, you can actually take your SD card and put it in your computer and back up on your computer. That's the biggest fear, is what happens if something happens to that Switch and I can't get those games.
I mean, that's kind of the fear you have. I mean, but it's like, for me, like, we've all been enjoying our Switches for the last year and a half, not worrying about cloud saves, and for a while not even thinking it was going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's not perfect.
Yeah.
But you got to give them it's something, and you aren't going to stop playing your Switch. You aren't so scared to use it. You know?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And I'm fine. Listen, I'm fine with it all. I don't have a problem. I'm basically throwing out there what people are saying, I mean, I don't have a problem with them charging for it because I feel like it is a server thing. My bigger issue is not all the games being backed up. That's a little disheartening. But at the end of the day, like, the only games I'm really worried about not backing up is Odyssey, is Zelda. They'll be backed up, and Animal Crossing. If Animal Crossing isn't backed up, we're going to have issues. Like, I will be driving to Redmond to have a conversation with Reggie to be like, hey, bro, this don't work for me.
It's just, I mean, my only is I get I see so much complaining in my feed, and nobody's adding Nintendo.
Yeah.
So it's like, how much do you really care? You're not even bringing it up to the person, to the party involved.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
You think that they're going to see your tweet. No, they probably aren't.
It's because they don't want them to see the tweet. It's just it's a situation where they just want to complain about it.
Exactly, and that's what's annoyed me to no end.
So the thing that did excite me though about this all was there's two things.
Yeah.
One is they announced we're getting NES games, but the way it sounds is we're getting 20 at the jump, and then they're going to continue to pepper NES games throughout the year. And I'm like, yes, man, that is awesome. Like, if I pay $20 and I get these games essentially for free, you know what I mean? I'm happy with that. I'm good with that.
With online added and some extra features and stuff. Yeah,
that's the thing. And then
it's like Nintendo's version of like Sega Ages. That's what it kind of feels like to me.
Pretty much. What's your thoughts on the controllers?
I think they're cool. I don't know if I'd use them, but I like the idea.
I am buying them.
Yeah.
I love them. I also, and I'll be honest with you, I'm someone that likes the idea that you have to have Nintendo Online in order to buy them. Because of the fact of, man, if I'm paying you $20 a year for this service, and then I can't use it, I want them, and I can't buy them, that would upset me. I think it does two things. One, it keeps the scalpers away from them.
Yeah.
And two, it also makes it where they're available to the people that are actually buying the service. I like it. Now, later on, open it up to everybody. But out the gates, absolutely. I want to be able to get it first. That should be something that's I'm joining a club. There should be some exclusive perks to joining that club. I should be able to get a jump on this stuff. I don't have a problem with that. And for people to be upset about that, that's the one that bothers me the most out of everybody being upset. Is because when I look at it and I go, well, hey, man, I should get some exclusive perks for joining this club. Like, for paying them money, I should get something out of this. And this is a perk that I get out of it. So I'm fine with it.
Yeah, and there are going to be other deals and specials and things. They haven't announced what those are yet.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be cool.
Yeah, yeah. And then the other thing is they announced was the perks, you know, but they didn't really get into it and they didn't really talk about it. What do you think some of that stuff will be?
I think it'll be heavy game discounts.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be like merchandise.
Yeah.
It's going to be games, merchandise. Yeah, I think it's going to be stuff like that. Maybe it might be a chance to get like a digital game earlier.
Yeah.
So it could be something like that.
Here's a question for you before this will be my final thing for you. Were you a fan of Club Nintendo at all?
I was a fan of Club Nintendo. And they had some pretty cool stuff there. And they even had it was either that service or the one before where they had like some exclusive games.
Yeah.
Where they actually released on it.
So do you ever foresee us getting back to that where they're like, hey, you're a member of Nintendo Online, you can buy this product or that product with your gold coins you earn or anything like that?
Yeah, because now with the eShop you do get coins.
Well, no. I mean like the physical stuff.
The physical stuff. I don't know. It's so much cheaper for them to do it digitally.
Yeah. Well, of course it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I would love it, but I just don't think they are.
I loved the physical stuff that they put out.
Yeah.
Like that to me was like, this is amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Like I loved it. I loved the fact that when they did it, you know what I mean? Like it was like this is what I want out of. I loved getting that stuff, like the little statues and stuff. Like that stuff was cool. I actually have an amiibo. I have Animal Crossing card set. Like it's a deck of cards that are all like that stuff that was exclusive to the Club Nintendo. I actually have. I don't know if you can see it. It's on the end over here. It's a gold Mario. It's in a little black case there.
I see the black case. It just looks like a bell that's in it.
Yeah, it's actually a gold Mario. That was a Japanese Club Nintendo exclusive.
Oh, well, the Japanese Club Nintendo got crazy stuff.
Oh, they got amazing stuff. We got garbage. We got, like, you know, plastic little keychains and stuff. Yeah, like that stuff, like, man, sign me up for that. Like, they treat Japan like they're gods. And they, like, just basically, like, throw elbows at us all the time, like, trying to knock us out.
Yeah.
Stealth! Man, this was a lot of fun, dude.
This was fun.
We gotta do this a little bit sooner than like a year next time. Like we'll do it a little bit quicker.
We've done 2 now, I think, pretty recently. I mean, I think we did something pretty recently. But yeah,
it wasn't that far out. Yeah. No. But let everybody know where they can find you and check you out and all that stuff.
You can find me on Twitter at Stealth, with 3 underscores.
Yes.
If you don't know, my banner on my Twitter is of different Smash Brothers characters, so that's how you know it's me.
Okay. I actually used, with this overlay, I use Rex from Xenoblade, because I know that you're huge into Xenoblade and into RPGs, JRPGs and stuff, so you can follow me. Go check out nintendoguru.com. Go check out the YouTube stuff, please, and follow me, Instagram, Twitter, at Nintendo Gurus. That is all. Peace out, Preston.